Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining us today as we are live from the Batcave. My name is Nate, and joining me today, as always, for these past 12 episodes, is my co-host.
No, I'm not here. I don't exist. I'm sorry.
Right,
I've always been a figment of your imagination.
This is a solo podcast, so word on the web. Today we're going to talk about.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke.
Don't leave me.
No. Yeah, hi, it's Joel. I'm here as always. Again, what have I done? Nothing. No, that's a lie. I've done lots of things. I just can't tell anyone this week. How are you doing?
Can you say what genre this in?
Oh, mate, I've done.
What field?
I've literally worked on 4 different things this week, and like 4 different things, of 2 of which are near completion.
Ooh.
Yeah. But like when I say near completion, I mean near completion to the fact that it's the first draft, and I'm gonna go back over this a million times until I like it because I'm an idiot. But yeah, definitely near completion. A lot of stuff filmed, things I didn't think I would be able to get filmed, but I've been doing.
Saucy, bro.
I know.
I've began filming some stuff for Film Form. I've also just recently finished speaking with some of the fan film community boys and girls, even though there's no girls. And
that's unfortunate. You've just soloed yourself out there.
Yeah, we've got some collaboration type things coming soon. I won't mention who with, just in case some people have to drop out or join in, or I don't want to miss anyone out or add someone in that isn't doing it. But it's pretty saucy, and also work is starting to calm down a bit, and hopefully be back to regular shift soon. So I'll have a bit more time on my hands.
So for some film making.
Yeah, I've also got a new PC arrive as well, so things are going to be even faster and fun.
Things are looking up, my friend. Things have calmed down where we are as well, due to like the COVID situation. We've had some restrictions lifted, so we can currently meet as long as we're still 2 meters apart.
Where I live, it's a bit more like there's been a big spike, but it was in a very controlled area, so like things haven't changed too much, as opposed to like Leicester, where they're back in lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, apparently we are worse than Leicester, but because it was such a concentrated area, then, it was managed.
Yeah, I think they quarantined the area off, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it was an outbreak or a spike in new cases in general. I think it was just a spike in that area.
Yeah, I think it was just a lot of the cases just so happened to be there.
Yeah.
Like the newer ones.
Yeah. But, things are looking up, and hopefully everything will get back to normal by the time me and Nathan go back to film school.
Hopefully, and we can actually, complete a full year.
Oh, mate, don't even. Imagine if they were like, oh, all your classes are online now.
One of my tutors have already told me that we're going to be going forward with online learning for their class, and I was like, all right, chill.
Oh, no. Well, you can't do that with filmmaking, though, right?
No, you can't. And I'm not doing all the pre-production for the film I'm not going to make.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way I'm going to do pre-production work on a film I'm not going to make. Like, I don't want a shot list that I'm never going to pick up a camera for. Okay, well, enough about our lives, because people want to know what our opinions are on the news. So, Nathan, tell me the news. What is the word on the web?
Well, this is a big one for me. I always try and manage to slip in a little reference from this somewhere in a podcast. But Power Rangers... The Power Rangers, not a Power Rangers. The Power Rangers is getting a movie reboot, okay? This has been confirmed for a while, with Hasbro. Well, it's not confirmed, but they've always said they're going to reboot it, right? But this is where it gets spicy. So,
spicy.
The show, in its 28th season next year, 2021, is going to be Dino Fury. And then that's the last season that's contracted with Nickelodeon, okay? We're under the impression it's going to be the last season, and they're going to continue with movies, because the new movie is supposedly canon to the movie universe. It will supposedly have a female lead, assumably female Red Ranger, but obviously we don't know if they're gonna, change that up as well. There's gonna be lots of characters that are from the LGBTQ plus community, and also it's gonna heavily involve time travel and seeing old Zords and old suits and stuff like that, but in a kind of elite modernized form. And all of this comes from the Illuminati, so it's not an official source, but a lot of things the Illuminati have released did end up being the case. So
yeah, they're a quite known data leaker, and a lot of their data that they've leaked in the past have come to light. So yeah, pretty good source. Thoughts on this? 100% okay with the representation, and it's about time we had a female lead.
But this is the thing. Like, we've had Lauren in Samurai, and we've had the SPDA squad, Red Ranger, which is a female. But like, we've never had like a full, because like you could argue that in Alien Rangers, Delphine was the leader, but that she was still a White Ranger, not a Red Ranger. Like, we've never had a full season long.
I mean the leader of like a brand new Power Rangers team, right?
Yeah.
Like, realistically, not just like a pseudo leader, which is what I would call the others, like a genuine from the start, this is the person that's going to lead the team.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
The gender doesn't matter, because why should gender matter when you're a Power Ranger? Right?
Because this is the thing as well, bro. So Hasbro has recently discontinued. Well, again, it hasn't been confirmed by Hasbro, but Illuminati. They're reportedly stopping their partnership with Toei, who do Super Sentai. So unless it's not true and Dino Fury is the base of the movie, or another Super Sentai team, this is going to be our first show canon original team, minus like the Titanium Ranger, who was an original Ranger, and bits and bobs. But this is going to be our first like American-made, entirely new team. Show.
I wonder if it loses some of the charm from that, though, right? Like, a lot of the things for me that I like about Power Rangers is that I can watch it, and when there is fight scenes, I can see how generically Japanese the sets and people are, that you don't sort of notice because they make these fake towns in the American version around them.
Well, that's exactly the thing, and it's like, even though I'm not saying, because obviously there are Japanese stunt doubles who come to America and they do the show Power Rangers as well.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, like, recently I've been watching Cure Ranger, and like everything about that is so obviously it's a bit more biased because I'm seeing the Japanese actor footage as well.
Yeah.
But it just all looks so much more extravagant, and like the Blue Ranger's like a wolf, so like whenever they go in like their pose, he's always got like a kind of crouched down kind of special kind of pose. Whereas obviously if Power Rangers adapted that season, would they still make the Blue Ranger a wolf, and is he just gonna for some reason be in this random crouch pose, like it's...
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And like with the original Japanese in Sentai and stuff, like in Go Busters, right, or Beast Morphers as we know it, there is a fight scene in the first season between Silver, like basically the gold Silver Ranger and the Go Busters team, and the two Evox villains, right? And they are in a very generically like industrial Japanese place. Like the setting around them, you could guess was Japan because it had concrete, but it also had trees nearby, which you would think is a combo you'd see a lot everywhere. But the way it was set out is generically Japanese to me, because I've watched Chris Broad, or Abroad in Japan. It's a YouTube channel, and he did a thing of traveling all of Japan on a bicycle, and he did like a video every day for a month, and he traveled all of Japan on a bicycle. If you look at Japan, it is very much concrete and forests, in that sort of way, and you could see that in certain Power Rangers sets. But the reason that we've always had this weird like Power Rangers blend is because in Go Busters, in the actual Sentai version of the show, it doesn't matter that they're in Japan, because of course they're in Japan. Yeah. So the town is normal to them, and everything is normal. Whereas though that scenery doesn't fit in with generic American audiences, so they had to make this sort of new Morph X type town to go around with all the sets that will be from the Japanese part of the show.
The Morph X towers and all the The fact that they're like,
Yeah.
things have advanced. Because, like, the thing is, as well, is that, like, if you go back to the original Mighty Morphin, and I love doing this, if you go to the original Mighty Morphin season, like, you can always tell the difference between American and Japanese. One, because of the Green Ranger shield, but even if you're not including the Green Ranger, the Japanese footage always looks darker. Like, just in contrast and just in light, in general. It's always darker footage.
Yeah, and I think it's because it was filmed with different cameras, obviously. Yeah. So it's like it's had a different color treatment.
But that's the thing you'll see. Like, obviously, as we got to season 2 and season 3, where it was the white dye ranger. Obviously, there's no Japanese footage of the Jew Rangers with the white dye ranger, so they've had to make their own footage. And you'll notice it's just always in the park or like in the field. Do you know what I mean? Like in Angel Grove Park, it's never like in these canyons anymore. And these.
Well, that's the thing. It's like this Morphex like a type place in Beast Morphers. Like, it has a lot of high-rise buildings and sky rises and stuff like that, which is a very Kyoto, Japan work salaryman type place, right? And it makes sense for when they do the Zord fights that there would be loads of skyscrapers around them. But they're miniature at this point, of course, because obviously the guy in the suit who is the Zord. Yeah. But, like, you see all these skyscrapers. Nowhere in America are you seeing this amount of skyscrapers unless it's generic America.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's like, you know, New York or things like that. But, like, you wouldn't see, like, where these people are supposed to be based, like, in Ohio or something. You wouldn't see skyscrapers and stuff like that. So they always have to create these interestingly out of place towns in order to fit around the Japanese footage and scenery and stuff. But I wonder if it's going to lose a bit of that charm.
Well, this is
when we have all original footage.
This is what I love about Q Ranger, because like when they're on Earth, they're always morphed because like they otherwise they're in their ship, but they go to different planets so they can really expand on the sets. Which obviously, if they're doing a movie, like the budget's obviously a lot bigger, they can do some better sets. But can I just say, the excuse for Power Rangers is always we don't have enough budget. But, like, granted, Nickelodeon don't give you enough budget, but Saban had money. Hasbro has money. Like, they are stonked out, especially Haim Saban. Like, he made millions back in the 90s. Millions. Did the cast get even 1% of that? No. Like, he's fine.
No,
he's kidded.
Yeah. If you look at the amount that they made for the first season of Mighty Morphin compared to what it became, the legend that it left behind, it is ridiculous. Those actors were underpaid.
Bro, those actors were not even, like, they weren't aware of how big it was until they saw it. Like, they were never told, like, oh, the ratings are this big. Like, they got told once that they were number 1 in the world, and none of that, it was, I think they were at Universal Studios, and they did, like, a massive show, right. And they, like, blocked up the highway for miles, and they had to extend to an even bigger stage that, like, Beyonce and everyone plays on, and they had to, like, add 6 more shows, and that's when they found out, and even then, they were still going to set at 6 a.m. in a set that was just on stilts, barely standing up, like, you know, no safety measures, nothing.
Yeah.
And there was, Haim Saban sitting back, stalking it in, like.
Well, you know what I think may excite you about this whole news, because we'll have to get off it after this, because we've spoken about this for a while. I know we love Power Rangers. But what excites me and probably will excite you is that Rio Soldier may be the last adaptation we get, right? But they are keeping the original canon. If they make more shows, then the original canon has always happened, including Rio Soldier to Mighty Morphin. Everything behind has always happened. Lord Zed exists, all of that stuff. And if they carry on making shows, they could technically, Nathan, make SBT 2.
Bro, this is what I'm excited about. Because this is the thing, right? This is the thing. This is where it gets tricky for me, because obviously I want them to make it to 2025 so they can be in the year of SPD, right?
Yeah.
Also, I want them to make it to 2023 so they can have 30 years. So if they do end the show, end it on 30 years. But also, like, there's just something so, like, special about starting it with dinosaurs. And then if Ryo Soldier's the last one, ending it with dinosaurs. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's just something, like, poetic about that. But at the same time, you know, I want them to make it to 2023 to do 30 years. But then, I want them to make it to 2025 to do SPD. And it's like, you know, like, you know the comic, the comic book thing, but it's SPD 10 years in the future or something like that, or like 10.
Tommy's son is like one of the Rangers.
Yeah, JJ, who we get introduced to in Dimensions in Danger. He's like, hey JJ, you left your bike out here, man. And he's like, sorry, Dad. And you're like, oh my god, he's his son, right?
Yeah. Oh
they
my
put
god.
him in the comic books. He becomes the green SPD Ranger, but still wields the dragon shield.
Yeah, he does.
And it's like, and I think isn't like Sky Tate the new Doggy Kruger like commander?
Yeah, he's the new commander. Sky is. Yeah, I read that. It was super good, and that's another thing that I'm super excited for. If they're not going to adapt the stories from Sentai anymore, guess what? They can adapt the stories from Boom. And if we get Boom comic stories, I am 100% on board. Give me the purple
not only can they
yellow.
make right. Not only can they make show canon movies with original American made teams, they can make show canon movies and shows with the Boom comics. They can make Shattered Grid show canon, and not only that, they can make Netflix shows like for older audiences. They can make cartoons, bro, for like animated series.
Well, this is what I mean, right? Let's just say, look, Hasbro has picked up Power Rangers. They have bought the rights to Power Rangers. Fair enough. Yeah, it makes a lot of money in toys. And that's probably why they picked it up. But no way did they pick it up to destroy the relationship with Toei and just to cancel the show. There's no way they spent that amount of money and they don't expect to make their return on that money because they bought it for a large sum. I am betting that Rio Soldier is not the last season we're going to get. I'm betting this movie will carry on into either a movie franchise or that movie will carry on and spin off a new season. And
well, this is the thing. That's what happened with Turbo.
Carry on.
Turbo started with a movie, and that was like the episode 1, and it was canon.
Yeah.
Picture this, okay? Because they're saying it's show canon, and they're saying there's time travel involved. Picture this, right? Each Ranger, say there's 5, 6, 7. They all go to a different time zone. Sorry, so like 2001, some people go see Time Force. 1998, some people go see In Space, right? But then we go to like 1993. Yeah.
Andro.
Andros, get it right. Wrong.
That's what
joking.
I said.
You said Andro, bro. Shut it.
Bro, there's some mic malfunction, bro. I definitely said Andros.
Bro, I corrected you then as if you would as if you were just gone. Yeah, let me go see Clint. Nah, bro. But imagine we go back to 93. They walk into a like spot on replica set of the Juice Bar, and just sat there are the 6 original Rangers de-aged. Like, obviously, like, well, because this is what I made a video on this on Film Form where I like kind of shared the news about it. Well, that's not actually out as of recording this, but it is as of uploading. So basically, like, obviously, like, they need to get like family consent and everything in order to, create a de-aged Trini. But what I said in the video was, if they don't want to get another actress and put Trini's face on it and de-age and everything, then just go to like 94, 95 and do the team with Rocky, Adam and Aisha. Because as much as I want Walter Jones back, like, yeah, I don't want to be stepping around things. I don't want to see the original 5 but then Aisha there, if like Jason and Zach are there. Do you know what I mean? Like, right. Yeah. But imagine like, bro, imagine this, right? It's show canon, yeah. So the original the new 5 Rangers are fighting, because apparently Lord Zed is the villain in this. So I don't know whether that does mean.
I'm 954.3% on board with that.
But yeah, but that genuinely be just like, do you reckon they literally go back to 93 and fight Lord Zed there, or like he comes to the future or something?
Nah, you know what I think it is, because Rita Repulsa turns into the good witch.
The mystic mother.
Eventually, yeah. So she turns into, first of all, a human, and then she in Mystic Force gains mystic powers again. Yeah. But she becomes the good version of herself. And then Lord Zed's kids and stuff like that.
Well, that's the thing. Lord Zed has a son.
They're still like technically evil, but Lord Zed also gets turned into a human, does he not?
Bro, in Space, Rita and Lord Zed get turned into a human, but in Operation Overdrive, Rita and Lord Zed's son shows up.
Yeah. So he does. So that's what I'm saying. What if this is like, either they revert Lord Zed from human back into the evil form, or his son goes back in time to get his father from when he was evil?
Well, because this is the thing, see, because obviously it's meant to be show canon, but like the voice actor for Lord Zed has passed away. So,
yeah,
like,
but I think that's something that you can get away with because like he was a costumed villain. Like whereas with Rita Repulsa, it's like it's iconic because the voice and the look is sort of simultaneous. But like with the costumed Zed, you can give him a new voice. You could even give him Kratos' voice, which is what I want them to do.
Well, but like picture this, bro. Picture this, right? Since it's show canon, like the new 5-6 Rangers, whatever, are fighting Lord Zed, can't handle it, right? So then like Rangers from like the past like 5 seasons come back. So Beast Morphers, like Dino Fury. Obviously, this doesn't have to be this next film, but if they want to make like a cinematic universe, whatever. Yeah. And like over time, we see them like with like the Beast Morphers Rangers, but they have like armored suits and like Dino Charge, even Megaforce. They're there, arse whooped, yeah. And then you just like we get all the like say the Mighty Morphin Rangers show up, whatever. But then right to the end when they finish fighting, then they take their helmets off and it's kind of like de-aged versions, but in like cinematic format.
Oh, bro.
Because like I don't think that like there'll be some that might be a bit difficult, but like Jason David Frank, Amy Jo Johnson, Walter Jones, like you can de-age them no problem. Like they haven't aged.
Yeah,
like,
they haven't aged really. They got that Hollywood. They got that Hollywood juice.
Yeah.
You know what I want to see from like something canon, and then we'll have to move on because this is definitely going to be in the title that we speak about Power Rangers because we have spoken about Power Rangers.
Bro, I do the thumbnails on the titles. Of course, it's going to be in the title, bro. Even if the word was said, bro, it's being in the title.
Yeah, you're right. I want 195% a crossover that they need to give us between Wild Force and Jungle Fury.
Well, listen, right? We never got a Wild Force crossover. We had the Time Force one, but that was within the Wild Force season, and obviously Forever Red.
Yeah.
Listen, right? The original actor for Cole, the Red Wild Force Ranger, he's in prison, right? I've said this from day one because people I see on Twitter like, oh, if you could do another Forever Red, who would you pick? And I've said this every single time. Taylor, the yellow Wild Force Ranger, but as Red, because like she was a leader within herself.
Right.
Like, so and like the yellow Wild Force Ranger didn't have a skirt or nothing, so like just put her as the red Wild Force Ranger and let her have the Red Lion and the Soaring Eagle.
Yeah, I would just love to see some of the things because we always get these Dino crossovers and stuff, and like the space crossovers would be cool as well. But like realistically, no one wants to see Operation Overdrive, RPM, and Turbo, right? Because Turbo's a tragedy.
Beast
Yeah, so like, oh yeah, Beast Morphers too.
Because that's kind of that's RPM too, bro.
Yeah, and I love the Beast. I love the Beast Morphers. Red Ranger anyway. Like he's one of my favorite Red Rangers we've had in a while.
And he's also in a film from video. If you guys want to check that out.
Yeah, he is. Oh my god, you secured the bag with that. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like I think the car themed ones not the greatest for me.
I feel like it was literally...
But like the animal themed ones, right? If we're going to get dino crossovers,
bro, that's
just
what
give
I'm
us
saying,
animal
like,
crossovers.
RPM and Beast Morphers, car themed, but it's like... Or like vehicle themed, but it's animal like hybrids.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And like Wild Force, Jungle Fury, and also a Lost Galaxy, even though that was a bit more of a... it wasn't so much animals, but they had their Galacta Beasts.
Yeah, like, I guess so. Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like, I would love to see these sort of crossovers that we wouldn't be able to get if everything was still under the restriction of we need Japanese fighting and Japanese footage. Now that they don't have that restriction anymore, they can cross the hell over, right? Well, like they don't have to wait for a crossover in Japan to make a crossover here anymore.
Literally, bro, like the budgets aren't as big. It's still like guys in suits and everything. But with Super Sentai, there's always a series and then a crossover movie. So there's like a series and then a movie crossing over with the past ones. A series, a movie, or some even
we
get
saw that
two.
with Pat Ranger, didn't we?
Yeah, like bro, like literally, is it Time Ranger the one that's Time Force? I could be completely wrong, but that literally had two movies. Like,
yeah, I think it was something like Pat Ranger and then Luden Ranger or something like that.
Yeah.
That
Or
did
like
the
even-
most recent movie.
well, there was one which was excuse me. There was one that was, you know how we got the RPM and Samurai movie, but only the red RPM Ranger came back, but like he was always morphed.
Yeah.
Like they had that, but that was just completely, you know, full cast, everything. There was the Go Busters and whatever one came after it. Is it the one with like the animals, like because that's a series it'd be pretty cool. Because that's kind of like Wild Force, you know, the one with there's like a green ranger who's an elephant and the white ranger, the one with the cubes.
So dope, yeah.
But it's so annoying because like we probably won't get that season. We probably won't get Q Ranger because they're like, right, dinosaur toys sell. These weird globes or these cubes, they ain't gonna sell as toys. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, but I'm not too heartbroken about that because I'm a man who of culture. I like anime. I watch a lot of things subbed anyway. If I want to watch Q Ranger, guess what? I'm gonna watch Q Ranger.
Well, bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, as much as I really, like, you know, I'm going to be upset if the show ends, right? I am. But, like, you know, worst case scenario, the show does stop going. Granted, I can't watch Power Rangers anymore because, you know, that has been one continuous story for the past 28 years. But, you know, if I want to see new seasons, I can't just go and watch Super Sentai, which I'm fine with because...
Yeah, because Toei's never going to stop that. They're just never going to stop that.
Literally,
like if they ever stop Super Sentai or Kamen Rider, I will genuinely, like, I won't know what to do with myself. Like, it's, that's like, they're their moneymakers.
Exactly. Like, as, like, Power Rangers over the years has dropped in... Well, this is the thing. Like, Power Rangers is dropping in ratings, and I'll tell you for why. There are so many people who love Power Rangers, but they're all watching it online because they're not watching it when it airs, which is what makes the money, because they put it on Nickelodeon at 8:30 a.m, and it's like... No one wants to watch that, and it's like, you know, it's only in America. Well, I don't know about only in America, but it's not in the UK. Like, we have to watch it on Pop.
Well, no, in the UK we have to watch it on Pop. Yeah.
Yeah, and granted, we've been given the gold mine. We've been given all the episodes, but that's beside the point. Like,
I think what they need to do in order to re-get their money for Power Rangers is maybe they need to start bundling them away from Netflix as like a streaming service. Like, send them to something that's not just Netflix that's going to pay for them for a while and then, like, you know, have the whole catalogue on there. Instead, now that Hasbro owns the rights to them, they can, you know, they have more leverage because Hasbro also, I'm pretty sure, are, like, they're acquiring more properties than just Power Rangers, right? So when they go to a streaming service with something that's not just Power Rangers, they could then start doing originals based on those series. So if they're going to do a movie, they could also do a movie that is funded by Netflix, or like like stuff like that.
I'll always say I really want either a PG-13 or an R-rated Power Ranger series where, like,
mate, give me an R-rated White Dragon Shattered Grid, please.
Literally, there's so many, like, keep it bright. Keep the suits colored bright, because like that 2017 movie, there was a guy who pitched the suits just all being black. Like, mate, that's not Power Rangers. That's like, mate. That's just fucking police squad.
Every Power Ranger can't be Walter Jones, all right? So let's just.
But like, that's just a SWAT team.
Yeah, no, it genuinely is. And do you know what that's like? That's the same thing as like them taking the originality out of the thing that is the Power Rangers. Like, one of my favorite things about seeing Power Rangers and Sentai in the past is seeing the variations on the costumes every season. Like, some of my favorite costumes are from some of my least favorite seasons, and like vice versa. Like, one that I really like enjoyed and I didn't think I was going to enjoy was Mystic Force, and they are some of my favorite costumes because they've got capes.
Literally, bro, they're so cool, bro. They are so cool, and it's like literally. The only 2 seasons of Super Sentai which I'd say the suits kind of look similar, I shit you not, is the newest one and the very first one. Yeah. The first and the 40-something. And that's only because there's a bit of similarity in the helmets and there's capes, and that is it, right?
Yeah. Like, if I'm honest, Zeo wasn't as good as Morphin for me, Mighty Morphin, right? But the Zeo Red Ranger is one of my favourite suits ever.
Bro, I love the Gold Ranger. I love, like...
the Gold Ranger
I love Jason as it is, but, like, Jason as the Gold Ranger, love it. But Trey, like, that was such a cool arc. Like,
Trey of Trayforia needs to come back in some sort of arc.
Tommy coming back was cool, yeah. But like having 3 people who merge into one Ranger, yeah. And then, like, because, like, we see him again. Like, the powers go back from Jason to Trey. But then in the Countdown to Destruction and in space, we see Trey again fighting against army with only the alien Rangers on, like, the good side. Yeah. Because they were the only ones left, obviously.
No,
Bro,
I
Cool
agree.
shit,
it's like... I think
we've lost Power Rangers over the years.
Yeah, we definitely have. We've lost the spirit of what it was originally about. Like I don't even dislike the Turbo outfits, and I hate Turbo. Like, Turbo is one of my least favorite seasons ever, and Turbo outfits are quite cool.
Bro, I really, as much as I'm not a big fan of the actor, I really like the blue Turbo outfit, like the blue Turbo costume.
Yeah, I like the blue Turbo costume, but I hate the actor for it. And it's nothing against him, right? But it's like, they were trying to appeal to a childlike audience by chucking a child in there. It's the same reason Robin was in Batman.
In real life, he has said a few ropey things about other Power Ranger cast members, but
don't do that, mate, because you were one of the worst Rangers possible. Like realistically, if there was a vote for the most hated or the least liked Rangers, he would probably be in the top 5.
Like, listen, like he basically was like the guy who plays Nate in Beast Morphers is a bit of a puny guy, whatever. Like, I wish you'd watched season 2, or I had watched it, because I could go into depth of why that is wrong and why he's such a great character, but like I can't explain it because it'll spoil everything for you.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, this is what I'll say, because I need to justify this to the audience. I've not watched season 2 of Beast Morphers, and that's a crime, but that's because I didn't know when it was airing, when it was coming out. It was like all this information, and then all of a sudden Nathan saw that the crossover was coming out, and then that made me think, oh, season 2's out and the crossover's coming out. So he binged it all, and now I need to catch up.
I randomly saw something. I was like, oh, somewhere, like, I don't know, Australia maybe is airing it, and then I looked and it was like the UK was just airing it every day. Like, each episode every day, even the crossover, even the everything.
Which is a waste of advertising space as well, because some people aren't going to be able to watch it day after day.
Bro,
they literally don't market the show enough.
Bro, literally, there's no marketing for the show, but the UK did a service, because literally, as soon as people found out, granted, it was being pirated online, but it brought a bit more attention to Power Rangers on Pop, because literally it was getting no attention. Literally it was only on Pop because the UK Nickelodeon had a different schedule. UK Disney Channel, well. UK Nickelodeon,
UK Cartoon Network, all of them show reruns. They don't show any original programming anymore.
Well, you say that, bro. I was so bored the other day before work. I went to Nickelodeon and it just hoping that there was Drake and Josh, iCarly, something, bro. There was nothing.
Oh no, but it's reruns of stuff like Ant Farm now.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the highlight. I want to wrap this up because it's we're a while into the podcast now, and we've spoken about Power Rangers for a while, and it wasn't our main topic this week. But
bro,
also I think I think because it wasn't our main topic and we do have so much more to say about it, maybe look forward to the future of either me or Nathan or both of us making a video on what we would like to see in the upcoming Power Rangers stuff. So let's leave the rest of our opinions for a video.
I just wait for them to confirm stuff, that's all.
Definitely. As soon as they say this has all gone through, Rio Soldier's the last Sentai series, then let's drop a video. Let's do something. I will jump into another piece of news because I have some good news for the people who watch this or listen to this because they like Batman, because it is in our name, live from the Batcave podcast. So I have Batman news. Way! The first piece of Batman news. The Batman that we are getting, Robert Pattinson's Batman, has a world around it, and it is getting larger and larger because HBO is having a new series on HBO Max, and it's a new TV series set in the world of the Batman. It has Matt Reeves, the director of Batman, already attached to the project, and he's going to be expanding the universe that he's already building now, currently with Robert Pattinson. So a new show is in works, and we're obviously going to get that Batman thing. They are heavily invested in this version of Batman and Matt Reeves' vision for where Gotham and Batman can come. I'm looking forward to this. Do you want to know a little bit more? Do you know anything about it? I've got some little titles and things that we've got.
Give me a bit more info. I definitely have a very sharp opinion on this, but I'll leave it till I view it a bit more. So
That's cool.
Go ahead.
So, it's not quite titled yet, but it's a DC TV series that will be wholly original, set in the same universe as the movies. It'll be part of following Gotham Central and the GCPD. It's been an important part of Batman canon in the past for many years, and there's plenty of comics that have that. The most obvious one is Gotham Central, the comic book, which debuted in 2002. And they'll have a lot of stuff to do that, and it's basically going to look at the impact of Batman and his rogues of gallery on the non-powered officers of the GCPD, and how Gotham's police is factored in heavily to the story. There's so much that they can pull from this. Like, they're basically doing Gotham again, but in this universe where it's going to be attached to the movies and stuff. And I just think this has so much potential. Like, just looking at the comics from obvious things, if you're a Bat fan, you know Batman Year One. That has a lot to do with Jim Gordon's rise alongside Batman's, right? That gives me big Gotham vibes. Also, it's heavily invested in the GCPD. Gotham Central, obviously amazing one. Jim Gordon is a massive character. If we get another Jim Gordon and we get like some actual cameos from Robert Pattinson in a TV show that's based in the movie universe, my mind is currently blown.
Chill, bless me.
Bless
bro,
you, my child.
This is my thing, right? Okay, so it sounds cool, but I was under the impression that because of the way the DCEU went, they were like standalone Joker film, and then this really awesome standalone Batman trilogy, and now it's like, but there's gonna be a TV show based in it. Oh, now we're gonna expand the universe. Like, I'm just worried that it's gonna become too hectic again. That,
I get what you're saying, but also DC have stated that obviously all of these films for now are separate universes, which means the Matt Reeves universe in which the Batman exists is also getting a TV show. It's not that we're heavily putting DC in this corner in which they're starting a brand new multi-movie, multi-TV show thing that's going to start this whole new DC universe. It's just that Matt Reeves has a lot of ideas for his version of Batman and his universe that he gets to create. So he was already promised a trilogy of films, and this is cool. So we're getting a trilogy of films. Hopefully one of them's going to be The Long Halloween. I'm pretty sure it is. So,
well, I think at this point we should just expect this one that's coming out this/next year to be The Long Halloween.
Yeah, I'm expecting it, but I'm super excited for it if it is. And like, he was already promised this trilogy, but now he has this idea for a TV show set in the world of his Batman, his already being created movies, and HBO Max could use the content. They're definitely trying to make this the new DC streaming service that is available to a wider audience than just DC fans. And I genuinely think that this could be expansive. Now, I get what you're saying though, that if they put if they put all their budget into these things and they keep focusing on this Batman thing, what if the movie doesn't work out? What if no one likes the TV show? And now they have this other universe that they have to now abandon. But I think that's a risk whatever movie they make. So I think as long as they're making content, they can't just take it on a movie by movie basis. They can't just be like, oh well, the Batman did well, so now we'll do a TV show. I think as a network, they believe in Matt Reeves, and that's why they're saying, okay, well, if you're gonna do the movie and you want to do a TV show, then all go ahead. Like, just do what you're gonna do, because we've already believed in you enough to give you a trilogy. Like a TV show, that's nothing.
Well, so obviously, because we already have the CW shows, yeah.
Yeah.
this isn't, I'm assuming, not going to be anything like that. This is going to be completely movie canon.
Yeah, so this is going to be HBO Max, which means, one, it's going to have a higher budget than the CW shows, as like the Green Lantern show will have on HBO Max, but also this isn't going to be connected to the Green Lantern show. It's not going to be connected to the CW shows. It's going to be in the Batman Matt Reeves universe.
Is Green Lantern connected? I didn't
To
think
the
it was.
to the HBO,
no,
the
no, to
HBO
the-
Green Lantern series is not going to be connected to the CW series.
Right, okay.
It's going to be technically in the CW multiverse because it's what we saw in the Crisis cameo.
Yeah. With
But,
all the crossovers and things.
Yeah, we are waiting on that also. I cannot wait. Someone please give me something that wasn't Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern, or in fact Ryan Reynolds, come back for Green Lantern, but just this time let's do it right. Like I'm just desperate for something Green Lantern. Like every time I see like the lantern on Stargirl, I'm like, oh, just please, someone please.
Yeah, I know, and blinking Pat keeps taking it and being like, no, it's useless without the ring and dangerous.
Yeah, but the users can call the ring, and the ring can choose their new users, and there's a thing in the comics in which like every ring with their user has a unique property, right? Which is something that they don't explore very much, but in certain comics, it has this thing of like every Green Lantern has obviously their power set of like their hope and their like it's willpower for Green Lanterns, it's hope for Blue Lanterns, but like they have their willpower and stuff, and they get to use that to make constructs. But also like Hal Jordan has a really specific power in which if he's wearing the ring, like if he's mortally like wounded, he'll just not die for a while whilst he's wearing the ring. The ring will make him virtually immortal for a while, whilst he's wearing the ring, even if he's like pierced through the heart. So like that's his specific power with the ring. Like the ring helps him out in that way, and every Green Lantern Corps member is supposed to have a specific one of those. I'm looking forward to the Green Lantern show and what that will bring, but obviously this is something based in the new Batman universe. I'm also skeptical because I don't really, unpopular opinion, guys, not really fussed on the new Batman suit very much. So I don't know where they're taking this film and how it's going to look. But
this series,
I'll be happy with a good story. You know what I mean? But still, the suit is a bit distracting for me at the moment.
So this series isn't going to follow Batman, no?
No, so it's gonna follow the GCPD. I'm pretty sure.
Right. See, that's the thing.
Well, it's gonna follow Gotham in general, I believe.
I'm not saying
like,
that could be boring, but like I didn't enjoy Gotham as is.
I did. I enjoyed Gotham, but I didn't get all the way through it. But I sort of. But Gotham for me teetered on the boring edge because we were waiting for the characters to become fully realized into the people that they were already going to be. Whereas though in this, Batman is already an established hero, and his rogues gallery are already established. So even if we don't see Batman, that doesn't mean the GCPD can't take down Mr. Freeze.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. That's
It's like dealing with the fact that the GCPD doesn't have superpowers, and how do they deal with Batman in the rogues gallery? How do they deal with Gotham City, this like wacky crazy town in which supervillains run rampant with superpowers, and there's one dude in his 40s trying to beat them all up with his bare fists because he has gadgets and no superpowers. He's like, this maniac dresses up as a bat and tries to take down superpowered villains and succeeds, and also is like making the city a safer place, and now the GCPD has to do their best to try and do the same as well.
I'll give it a go. Like I'm not trying to.
Exactly. I'm gonna
give it a go. I just hope they don't try and expand off that more, and just try and make something big with the Batman universe that doesn't need to.
Well, this is what I mean. Also, if it's going to be in the Robert Pattinson universe, does that not mean we already know who Commissioner Gordon's going to be? It's going to be Jeffrey Wright, and does that mean Jeffrey Wright signed on to be Commissioner Gordon at the GCPD?
I mean that exactly. Like I'm down for that type of stuff, right? But say now this show does well, then they'd be like, oh, let's make another Batman spin-off show. Let's do this. Oh, let's make another spin-off movie.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
Try to rack in the cash, because I don't mind if they want to make like 10 seasons of a good Gotham show. Just don't don't be like, oh, racking up the cash, alright, let's make 12 other spin-offs of this.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. But, October 1st, 2021 is when we're going to have the Batman. So I'm pretty sure this TV show is going to be a lot later than that also.
Yeah.
Unless they start production. Well, no, because it's, even if they, the type of thing in which they can make it in a year, we're still going to get it around the same time. And I doubt they release it at the same time.
Hasn't the Flash and stuff like that been able to start production again now, or is that soon?
I'm completely unaware. I have no idea. But yeah, we're both skeptical, but I think I'm positive on the fact that I'm going to give it a go, because the more comic book properties that we have, the more it's ingrained into pop culture, and I want to see DC do well, because if I'm honest, I way prefer the DC TV shows. But that could all change, because Marvel's about to get cracking Disney Plus TV shows, which means, if DC falls behind on the TV shows as well, they need to bring their A game with these movies again. They need to give us some stuff. Like Shazam, what a banger. Probably one of my favorite superhero films, full stop.
Yeah, fantastic.
But it was such a good film. But then you've got Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and they were good, but they weren't Shazam good. And we need some more Shazams. We need to hit it out of the park. And Joker, barely count as a DC film.
Yeah, literally, unless you sit right till after the end credits, the DC logo or the name DC is not there at all.
Yeah, basically.
It's only because I have it on Blu-ray, which does say DC on it. And it's not that I watched it to the end, but I kept it on till the end.
And it's it's not it doesn't say features a DC character or something. It says characters based on a DC property. Yeah. As in this character is an interpretation of anything, but it is inspired by the DC property, which means he's not the Joker. He's Joker in the sense of what the film gives him, which is when Murray tells him.
But
that
exactly,
he's Joker.
he's not he never asks, "Can you call me the Joker?" The film isn't called The Joker. It's just called Joker.
Called Joker, yeah.
And he's like, "Can you introduce me as Joker?"
Yeah, I think it was a banging film, but I wouldn't put it under DC's roster of banging films, because it was a character profile piece.
It was a feature film that was about a character which had a lot of similarities and a lot of world building similarities to the DC character.
Yeah. What's your next piece of news? Because we might come back to DC.
Take this with a pinch of salt, but there is reports of a possible Thanos movie in the distant future of Marvel, which kind of just ties in with Thanos' possible future return. So it was kind of spoken about that Josh Brolin would at some point eventually return to the MCU in some form, whether it's Phase 4, Phase 5, whatever. But of course, spoiler alert, Thanos in 2 different timelines is dead. So unless we, multiverse style with Doctor Strange, or, there's a film that takes place before, Endgame and stuff like that, then we could see him. But I've seen concept art for for fan art, realistically it is, of a kind of younger Thanos. He's a bit
yeah,
he's still ripped, but he's not the big bulky ripped. He's more
so
just the kind of,
the thing is with Thanos is that where I think that this might have some validity is we're about to get an Eternals movie, and Thanos is undoubtedly an Eternal.
Well, that's the thing, but
it holds some weight.
Also, with Guardians 3 coming out, obviously Gamora, even though she's a bit, Gary Gunners in the head, that's still her father. So, obviously, his name is never gonna disappear. But, we can always see stories of, Nebula and Gamora when they were younger and with Thanos, or how Thanos... Because, obviously, there's theories that in the MCU, Gamora is Thanos' actual son, because Red Skull says Gamora, daughter of Thanos. So, but there's, possibilities, and especially with Eternals, and just add that, because obviously, they're right, Phase 4, moving on. First film happens during the Infinity Saga. It's undoubtedly that they'll probably do things that go back or, just carry on.
Yeah, and like obviously Thanos' race doesn't look exactly like him either, because he's half his race and half Eternal. So yeah, this Eternal movie is coming up soon, and I think that that's the perfect thing to drop some things of, we're not the only Eternals, and Thanos was an Eternal. Does that have anything to do with his return? The fact that he's maybe not immortal or anything like that, but like maybe there is a way for him to come back because he technically is an Eternal. It's sort of either way going to be a loop around sort of comic explanation why he comes back, but he doesn't necessarily have to come back in that way. But I'm definitely thinking they should do that, because the closer they get to the comics, the more of the comics that they can adapt, and the better screen stuff we're gonna get. So definitely exactly. For me, give us some more Thanos. I enjoyed him, and I enjoyed Josh Brolin as him.
Yeah, literally, again, work with me, like, he loves all Marvel, but he is pro Thanos. Like, that was his favourite character in Infinity War and Endgame. Like, literally, like, he has multiple Infinity Gauntlets in different forms and, brands, just straight up just adores him. And a lot of people do, and I really like him. I'm not the kind of guy that's like, I'd rather Thanos win than the Avengers, like, but one of the best villains, if not the best villain that I've seen in, like,
Yeah. You're not part of the Thanos did nothing wrong club, but you also you respect him as a villain.
Bro, I understand. I think he did do a lot wrong, but I understand where he could possibly have thought he could be right.
You know when I realized these Marvel movies were ridiculously good is when I saw Thanos straight karate chop the Hulk. Like when he did that, like when he was a giant hulking being like the Hulk, but he did advanced martial arts, and like the CG model didn't flip for a second. There was no flaws in that scene. My guy, I knew like Thanos is a staple to the MCU because of how well they did him. Like, it took them years of cameos and stuff to lead up to how, eventually his full-on, like, I am Thanos, this is my goal, I'm going to beat the Avengers to get this goal. But, like, when they finally did do that, when we finally got Infinity War and Endgame, he looked amazing. The pause stretched. The 3D model was great. There was just so much good stuff.
Literally, it's like, there's so much about Thanos. Like, we've seen him in so many forms, from 2012's Avengers when he was a different actor, to like Guardians of the Galaxy where we actually see him properly for the first time, to the little clip in Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, we've seen Thanos evolve, like, with the way he looks.
Yeah.
But like Endgame, like Infinity War perfected it. But then when we see him in Endgame, where he's like he's not smaller, but obviously he's a lot weaker because of what happened with his arm and everything. Like,
yeah.
Damn, like that was good. And we see like a full CG model character feel pain, and like we can see it. He doesn't look shit.
No, I agree. I think he's a main staple, and he's the benchmark for how good it was at this point, and I'm guessing it's only going to get better.
Hopefully.
So yeah. No, I'm on board with that. I've got another piece of news that is DC related, so I'm just going to check it out here. It's not something I think we need to spend a bunch of time on, but interesting stuff. The actress replacing Ruby Rose in Batwoman has been cast now. It's a woman of colour, and Ruby Rose tweeted about this, congratulating the new actress, and is super excited that it is an LGBT plus woman of colour taking on this role in a very diverse way. Obviously, she's taking on the role of Batwoman, but not Kate Kane. She is a new original character that the Batwoman TV show is picking up. My thing on this is I wasn't that interested in the first season of Batwoman. I will now give it another chance, and I think a lot of people will because of these recasting and how viral it's gone. So I think this is sort of a mini marketing genius move anyway.
This is what.
But yeah, that's my total opinions on it. I'm super excited for what she can bring to it.
You may have explained this to me before, but we'll go over it again. What is it they're actually doing? Are they starting completely fresh with the show in season 2?
No,
or is it
Kate Kane's leaving Gotham for some reason, and we're getting a new Batwoman. That's as much as I can tell.
It's just as in Kate Kane exists, but the mantle's being passed on, is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Do you reckon that I'll all get like Ruby Rose back for that one episode, or do you reckon it's just gonna be,
I definitely think we're going to get a hey, I'm Ruby Rose and I'm Kate Kane and I'm going to be Batwoman again for this one episode. I'm in Gotham just for the night. Like, I definitely think we're going to get some sort of like cameo from her in the future. But that all depends on her career trajectory, right? Because before she did Gotham, like, her trajectory was going a very different way, and she was looking to start her career in mainly movies rather than TV shows, because she made it really big with TV shows in Orange is the New Black. Then she did The Meg, which was one of her film debuts that you know, got her spotted, because The Meg did quite well in cinemas. And then after The Meg, she came to Batwoman, and everyone was really confused. They were happy, obviously, because she's a good actress, but confused with her trajectory. And now she's going back to the film industry, I think. So we'll see what her schedule actually brings. But I hope she comes back eventually.
Before Batwoman, or was it Batgirl? Batwoman? What's the show? Batgirl?
It's Batwoman, because it's Kate Kane.
Batwoman. I had never heard of Ruby Rose. Like, I hadn't seen anything she was in. I definitely thought she was, cool. Like, in Crisis, she was really good.
Yeah.
But I was like, I've just never seen anything with her in. And then went and watched John Wick 2, and she was just in that. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that was another one of her movies.
And then, I can't remember what else I saw, but she was like, just kind of, I wouldn't call it a cameo, because I think to make it a cameo, it has to be a kind of like, you got to have some form of relevance to that, either project or,
yeah, so
whatever.
Some lore behind it.
Yeah, but like she just had a kind of small role. And I was like, but she's just everywhere now. We've never seen her before now. Like,
yeah. I'm following her career quite closely, but we'll definitely see where it leads her. I wish her all the luck in the future.
Yeah, bro.
But I'm excited what the new character is going to bring to a new Batwoman, and I hope the costume changes a little bit, because I'm not 1,000% okay with her having short hair and then red hair. Like, I get that that's the way it is in the comics a lot of the time as well, but like, I just please have long hair. It's nothing against like anyone who wants to have short hair or expressionism or even comic accuracy. I just feel like the wig being sewn into the cowl is such a stupid idea, whether it's in the comics or whether it's in TV shows.
Well,
I think that's just getting in the way.
Like, literally, if she like falls, like, very, very absurd, thought. But if she falls in water while fighting, she has to like fix that wig. Whereas in reality, she just have to like dry her hair.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's so easy for that wig to get ripped and up and just like,
Yeah, well, yeah, it's that and the fact that, like, why do you need it? Batman doesn't have a buzz cut sewn into his cowl. Well, granted,
I feel like it definitely helps identity, but like, if you just have a regular cowl, then
it does help identity. I'll agree with that. But like, if you look at Batgirl's costume, like Batgirl's costume, like diversifies herself in the fact that she will, she will have her natural hair coming out of the cowl. Right, and it's not coming out of the top of the cowl. It's always coming out from the bottom. Whether it's blonde Batgirl, whether it's red-haired Batgirl, whether it's brown-haired Batgirl, whatever Batgirl we get, she's always got a yellow symbol, either a purple or black costume, and then she's got the hair coming through the bottom of the cowl, and that's very Batgirl. And like with Batwoman, she's always had that hair coming out of the top. If it's coming out of the top, just let it be your hair. Don't let it be a wig that you've sewn into the cowl. That makes no sense.
Well,
that makes no fighting sense as well. Like, you're giving the villain a chance to pull your hair.
doesn't it, bro? Exactly. And like that's an easier way for the cowl to come off as well.
Yeah, I know. It's always never made sense to me why that would happen. I think it's like a diversion if she's got short hair. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a diversion for like her secret identity, in which like if she's got short hair in real life and then Batwoman has long hair, then it's impossible that these two people would be the same because red-haired person. But then like every red-haired person that goes out on the street who has long red hair is not accused of being Batwoman. And if they are, that's a stupid plot point. Like, just don't sew the wig into the cowl. Just like in a practical way, do it if that's what you need for filming. But then make sure the character also has long hair outside of the filming, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like even if the actual character, even if the actor is asked to wear a wig, make sure that the character's hair color and hair length is the same, even if it's the actor that's wearing the wig.
And like. Yeah, so that's the thing. With Ruby Rose, I do think, like, obviously she's always had short hair throughout her career and stuff, and, like, if that was the case, and you don't want her to have just short hair and then she has short hair, so she just has the normal Batman outfit, except she's got bat boobs instead of bat pecs, right? And, yeah, we had that for, like, the first episode, and it looked dodgy, and it didn't look great. And then the new costume was an improvement, but then I had this sewn-in wig. I think a way to maybe combat that was just have Ruby Rose wear a wig all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just have her character Kate Kane have long hair. If you're going to have the costume have long hair, let her. I get that you don't have to, and like it's subterfuge or whatever it's called, but like it's always been ridiculous to me. Anyway, rant over. Let's not speak about that. Have you got any more news?
I've got something very small, which I feel like we should kind of just brush past so we can get to your news, if you've got a final bit of news, and then Watch of the Week. But basically, the Loki showrunner, Michael Waldron, has come out and said, not much about Loki, but he said to expect the unexpected.
Well, a Time Variation Authority, pretty sure is going to be in that show. So anything could happen, basically. I'm super looking forward to that. But again, what does that mean? That's a vague statement.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for like the most, like, both insane / intense / gruesome / lighthearted / funny / scary, like, just absolutely every, like, just it's Loki, right? Yeah. There's lots of great things about the character, like comedy wise. There's lots of great things about the character, like fighting wise. Horror wise. Like I want a lot from the show.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm expecting great things. Yeah, I've got a piece of news that we can just skim past too. If I have any other pieces of news on my list, I'll save them for next week because I don't think they're that urgent. But the season 5 trailer of Lucifer dropped. And it looks like it's going to be a banger. Nathan's never seen Lucifer, so I can't say anything about the trailer because it'll be spoilers for like the first season and the second season and the third. So, but for everyone who has watched Lucifer and has enjoyed that show, multi-roles. Am I right? I'm super looking forward to it. And also a little tidbit for Nathan as to why I might be so in love with the show Lucifer at the moment is because you understand my favourite Superman in live action. You know who it is?
Do I? I don't get this wrong now.
You definitely do, because when we were watching Crisis, I freaked out.
Oh, I forget his name. Smallville,
yeah. Tom Welling Smallville Superman is my favourite Superman in live action so far. I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. I might be forgetting someone, but I'm pretty sure he is. And he, Tom Welling himself, is a character on one of the seasons, a very big character on one of the seasons of Lucifer, and he's in there, and he is he's a very important character to the Bible and biblical stuff. So I definitely think that Nathan in the future should watch Lucifer, which is why I'm not spoiling everything for him. But yeah, one of my favorite actors, including being a live-action Superman. He came back in his first role since he played Superman. Basically, he took a massive break from acting, and then he came back. And what was the first property he did? A DC property. So my man, gotta show him some love.
Big boy.
So yeah, and season 5 looks amazing. Multi-roles all around. Clap, 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 clap. Okay, I'm excited. Nathan, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. We watched My Hero Academia Season 2 Duo.
Die.
And we pumped out the season relatively quick, so I'm not going to ask him to recap every episode as well, because there was like 25 this time instead of 12. And we did it all in basically a week for you guys. It was really intense. Nathan had work. Like we both had to fit stuff around our schedules, so we won't be pumping out the next season in another week or anything like that. We're gonna watch it at a leisurely pace, and then after we've finished season 3, we'll come back with a what we watch eventually. So don't worry, we haven't given up on it for next week or the week after or anything like that. Just when it's finished, it'll be finished, and we'll get back to it. But season 2, what were your thoughts overall? Was it a big thumbs up? Or was it a big thumbs down compared to season 1?
Big thumbs up. In the first few episodes, I was definitely thinking this might not compare, but like, I left season 1 going, Deku is a really, really cool character, and I left season 2 going, Deku is a really cool character, but Todoroki is a very cool character.
Bro, Tenya Ida is a very cool character.
Bro, Tenya Ida. My boy. And bro, we can't forget, bro. Good old Mineta, bro.
Bro, good old grape juice himself. Oh, I love him.
Bro,
love him so much.
What a boy. And even Bakugo, like they all had like,
yeah, they had some moments this season.
Yeah, bro, like literally, like okay, I won't go into it yet. I'll wait till we get into our favorite kind of moment.
That's fine. So there was a couple of arcs in this season. There is a mini arc that's technically part of the Hero Killer arc, but I will separate that just to get your views on it. So we'll go for the first arc, which is Deku finally learns how to control One For All at 5% of its power throughout his entire body. What did you think of that?
Bro, literally, right. All the time, we always, like through season 1, if we see him use his powers, it's always like, he breaks his bones, so he always has to find out how to do this like as minimum as possible, right? And even in, this season 2, when they're in like the kind of arena battles, he's just constantly breaking his fingers, like knowing that the healer's gonna heal him. Yeah. When we see him conquer the 5%, and there's just lightning and just like he just does what he wants as long as he doesn't go over that 5%.
Oh mate, honestly,
the fire.
Honestly, it was a defier. So that's one of the things. So let's track back. Let's go to the first arc, which is the UA Sports Festival. So we get some like filler episodes at the start. I think it's 2, but it's nothing major. It's just the thing that's leading up to the sports festival, and everyone picks their names. The actual festival in general is split into basically 2 parts, which is the sports parts and then the final battles. Tell me what you thought about the sports parts.
So what was that now? That was the
obstacle course and the cavalry battle where they had the points and Deku had 10 mil.
Right, so like with the headbands.
Yeah, so the obstacle course and the headbands.
That was, but this is the thing, like, obviously, I'm not going to by any means say Deku was cocky with that, because obviously he wanted to keep it, but he was definitely like, yeah, bro, I've got, like, I'm the big guns, like, I'm the shit.
I'm the guy.
He knew, and everyone was, like, on his team for that and everything, like, he obviously, he knew that he was, regardless of what happened, he was on his way to number 1 hero, right? And even though he's not that now, obviously, but
Well, so he got to this place in the cavalry battle in the headbands thing from going through the obstacle course. So, what did you think about the way he won the obstacle course?
How did he win the obstacle course, bro? I completely forgot about
that. He picked up a piece of a broken robot and used the mines to fly over everyone's head without using his quirk. And then as soon as he was about to land next to Todoroki and Bakugo, he then slammed that piece of metal down that he rid over the sky on into another mine to fling himself forward again, but, blast them backwards.
Bro, I'm not even joking. I do not remember that.
What?
Literally.
That was one of the best moments of the whole season.
Bro, that's why I sounded so confused, bro. Why didn't I remember that? Like, genuinely, I'm blanking so hard on that, bro.
So he picks up like a part of a robot that was in the obstacle course to stop them. Then I believe someone, I think it might have been Todoroki or Bakugo, basically exploded one of the robots. So he picks up like a big like tower shield piece that covers most of his body. And like he just like straps it to his back, and then he does the rest of the obstacle course. And then eventually at the end of the obstacle course, there's a minefield that everyone has to get through. And like Todoroki's in front, and Bakugo is like just in front of Deku. But they all have to be really careful. Todoroki can't just speed up at this point, because if he speeds up using his ice, then he gives everyone else an advantage as well, including Bakugo, who is hot on his tail. So he can't use his ice, so he's got to be careful, and he got to do the course the normal way. And Bakugo can't use his blasts to just fly over the mines, because the mines stretch for ages, and if he lands in the wrong spot, he could take himself out of the contest. So they all have to be really careful. Deku comes up with a strategy where he digs up a bunch of mines. He digs up like 20 mines, like that were in the ground, and then he places them all in a pile. And he gets this robot arm thing that's like giant, and he jumps onto it, and then like he, with this power, he jumps onto the mines. He lets the like 20 mines explode on purpose, in order to propel himself forward without using his quirk. And he's like flying through the air at super speeds and flying over the minefield. And he's about to land again, but he still hasn't made it to the end. He's made it to where Todoroki and Bakugo are, and there's still mines. So what he does is he says he's not going to lose to them, and he uses his shield to smash down on the ground, and blow up a couple more mines to propel him forward again, the same way he did the first time, except it blows Todoroki and Bakugo back this time.
Bro, genuinely, I remember none of that, and I don't even know why, bro, because there's so many things that stand out in that season to me, but like,
it's amazing, and we'll have to watch it again after this episode.
Bro, we will.
But yeah, so that was like amazing for me. And then the cavalry battle. What did you think about the Dark Shadow reveal at the end?
Okay, so this is the thing. Just within the battle was always like peaking. Like it was always like, damn, that was cool. Damn, that was cool. And then like he's sort of, whoa, that was even cooler. So like with the reveal at the end, it wasn't so much like that. I feel like it was underplayed,
right?
But I feel like there was too many. Well, you could never have too many epic scenes, right? Or epic like moments. But
yeah,
they were. I would just like. I would have liked to have felt more about that than like.
Right.
So it was like, this happened, that was awesome. This happened, was awesome. This at the end was also awesome, as opposed to like, this happened was really good. This happened was really good, but then this at the end was banging. Like, do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I really like the ending where he reveals that, like, obviously, even though the 10 mil was grabbed from him because of the mind control guy and everyone else was on 0 points and stuff, that he grabbed enough points off Todoroki with Dark Shadow in order to get them all through.
No, because that's the thing as well. It was like he's going to like different people. Like you don't know. You're like, oh, who's it gonna be? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Who's gonna happen? And then I kept saying, I was like, bro, I feel like it's gonna be Bakugo. Like I just feel like they might pull that on us,
bro. And I knew it wasn't, and I was like, bro, keep thinking that with yourself. Keep thinking that. When I first saw, like, he picked the support hero and he picked Uravity, I was like, okay, so he's got the like mobility side sorted. Now all he needs is like someone who can like basically like make the maneuver even faster. I thought Froppy, but bro, the Dark Shadow, oh, mate, the reveal when he's like, yo, Tokiyami, You gonna be my rider?" And he was like, "Absolutely." So
nice.
So yeah, that was a great part when he picks him, and it was unexpected. And then throughout the battle, there was so many highs and lows. We see some people from Class 1B who have really interesting quirks, like the one guy who can copy other people's quirks, but only for like 5 minutes, and the girl who can make her hands giant. Well,
that's something I really liked. It's like obviously they're not it's not like exactly what we're talking about, but you know how the guy with like the 6 arms was kind of like
the dupli arm,
was shielding like Frappy and
shielding Frappy and Mineta. Yeah, that was one of the coolest strategies of that. I really liked that. And it was cool that Mineta came up with it as well.
Yeah.
So that was the sports festival part of the sports thing. All right, now tell me what you thought of the battles.
Now all the battles were good, and like I said, I was like after I keep forgetting her name, but it's the Gravity Girl, Uraraka.
Yeah.
Like I had a lot more respect for that character after the battles and all that. But bro, like I'll remember this right forever. Right. Well, first of all, the one with the guy who like you can't like reply to him or like.
Oh yeah,
control you. But then like as he got to the end, he seen all of the other people who have all for one, and like he just flicked his finger and like stopped himself from going out of bounds. Like that was dope.
That was so.
And then he just started like he wasn't even using his power; he was just pushing the guy to the end. But no, the best part for me, right, was when he was fighting Todoroki, and Todoroki was like adamant he will never use his father's power, but like Deku knew that like he needs to, otherwise his one side's gonna just freeze up. So he just keeps pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him and pushing him until eventually he just uses it. And then, you know, even though Todoroki wins, like Deku knows that he's now not dead. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that, just the entire scene where like he's like not using it, and then he's like, you know what, I will use it. But well, actually, I don't know if this happens later on, but still, like, either way, like, I will use it, but for myself, not for my father, like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then when Deku shouts at him, it's your quirk, not his.
Yeah. And then
he's whoosh. Like, and then he does it, and his flames come out, and then you realise his flames are as cool as his ice, and you're like, for God's sake, why is this guy so cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that moment too. I think that's probably like a highlight of the sports festival fighting. I think my favourite fight is probably that one or the Uraravati versus Bakugo. Like, that was quite interesting. But yeah, I super enjoyed those. So that was the UA Sports Festival. And then, you know, in the end, Bakugo ends up winning the Sports Festival because he beats Todoroki's, because Todoroki won't use his fire side against Bakugo because he still needs to work some stuff out with his mother, who is like the person that gave him the ice powers through his quirk inheritance. So he was he said, like, you know, Deku's right, but he doesn't feel it's right to use his right side until he's spoken with his mother, who is, you know, heavily affected by all the stuff that's happened in their lives. So but then he
did see his mother.
Yeah, so he goes to see his mum at the end of the sports festival, but so yeah, Bakugo is super angry because Todoroki wouldn't face him at 100% of his power. I feel like if he did, he probably would have slapped Bakugo. But Bakugo wins. Todoroki comes second, and then Tokuyami, Dark Shadow, comes third in the sports festival. But like, everyone got a good showing. Everyone was super cool in that. Then we get our placements. Now, this leads on to us meeting the Jet Hero, Gran Torino, and Deku finally mastering his quirk. Well, not mastering, because it's not 100%, but finally learning full cowl, which just means being able to use it throughout his entire body.
Can I just ask, before I continue what I'm about to say, is season 5 like set to be the final season or something, or is it just another season?
Just another season, my friend.
Okay, so if this is, like, you know, obviously there's the joke, there was the meme of, like, this is just Shaggy using, like, 0.7% of his power. Yeah. Like, if that's Deku using 5% of his power, obviously, I don't know what percentage he's going to be by the end of season 4, whether he's full, whether he's half, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, I can't imagine like what's gonna be like when, you know, we get to the finale of My Hero.
When Deku is finally at the point where he can use One for All like All Might did in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that, and that has been a moment that I have been waiting for since the moment I started watching this show. I was like theorizing, like, is he going to look like All Might by the time he leaves high school and stuff like that? Is he gonna be jacked? Like, I'm super excited. But the major thing for me, and the thing that I don't think you quite get yet, because you've only seen one, is that Deku gets costume upgrades. Like, he currently has had one. So he came out in the normal suit that you saw everyone else coming out in, and he had that like rabbit like All Might green suit and the see-through mask. Well, you know, his suit was destroyed in the battle with Kachan, and then during this in the new arc, he has a new suit that has been made by the people that aren't his mum, the actual people. So his mask isn't see-through anymore. It's like a metal container, and it looks way cooler. And he's got like shoulder pads now, and he's got a utility belt, and like and his legs have got like, you know, dark strips down them, and he just looks overall cooler in his costume. And he'll keep getting new costumes, right? So it's all about how he develops his quirk and how the costumes you know, develop, because people's costumes don't change for nothing, Nathan. It changes because their quirk gets used in new and interesting ways, which means there is so much more for you to see.
Like, just by the time the show finishes, like, his suit's just gonna be mega stretchy, so that he's just like absolutely massive.
Oh, bro!
Imagine
if he just does that thing where he buffs up like All Might does.
Yeah.
I'm super looking forward to seeing all the stuff from the future. But, you know, Deku is the one we follow throughout My Hero Academia. But this show is not called Deku and Friends. It's called My Hero Academia. And that's a good reason, because we see throughout these arcs that these characters have real story, real backstory, real character development. Every single person in this class gets the treatment that they need to be getting, right? Like, there is real character development amongst everyone. Like Tenya and his brother, like Tenya Ida, you know, taking on the name of Ingenium because the hero killer paralyzed his brother, right? That's some story right there. Like Todoroki and his burn because of his mother and his father and his abusive home life. That's a stonking story.
Yeah.
Like, it's so good, all of that stuff, and you get like more treatment of all the characters and stuff. But what was your thoughts on Gran Torino when you first meet him and he's like a bit senile until he starts asking the important questions?
Yeah, like because you were told me, you were like, you're about to meet my favorite character in these coming episodes, and like I can't wait. And then I was like, surely this man, because obviously like you always have the kind of thing that's like, oh, he seems like he's useless, but really he is like a mad.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's kind of like RJ in Jungle Fury. Like he's just like some hippie, but no, but he's a jungle master. Yeah, no, he was definitely kind of like a cute, like, you know, old man. And then he was like, you know, you need to use all your force on me. And he's like, bro, I can't kill you. He's like, no, do it. And he's like, nah, bro. He's like, oh, Jesus Christ. And like, bam, starts jumping all over the walls, bapping him out.
Oh,
and he's like, bro.
His jet, like his quirk is some of the coolest stuff ever. And like, you'll see a flashback later on in which he does not look like the way he looks now. Like, he's currently like an old man, and obviously his body's shrunk. But like, he used to be like a full-size human and like have that quirk. So yeah, like, yeah, his jet quirk is super fun and super cool, and like also just the fact that he like rags on All Might for not being as good a teacher as he was, like, and you're like, oh well, he's just ragging on All Might, he's not that great of a teacher, and then Deku unlocks his like new full cowl, which is him being able to use One for All at 5% throughout his entire body. Which just means he can use One for All, right? He's not as powerful as All Might, but like, he's a kid, so he doesn't need to be as powerful as All Might yet. But like, just the fact that he can actually use his quirk now without hurting himself is just, you know, next level. There's so many characters that I absolutely adore, but we don't get that much character development with them yet. That you will get in season 3 and 4. But yeah, there's been amazing character development in these arcs. What do you think about the hero killer Stain as a villain?
That was a intense kind of.
Yeah,
like,
he's like the guy, right? He's like, you see the League of Villains and you're like, oh, this like Tomura Shigaraki guy, the hands guy, is like, he's a bit of a child and he's got the warp gate and his master that tells him like to do stuff. But like when you meet Stain, you're like, this guy's fully formed. It's like really good world building because people know who this guy is. He's Stain, the hero killer, and he's killed a lot of heroes. And you just meet him out of the blue. Yeah, like what did you think about like him as a character and how good he was as an antagonist in this arc?
He was really great, bro, and like there was always a feeling that he was building up to something, but like definitely not what it led on to be. But like just because obviously that's what rose Deku to the challenge of being a proper hero, and then Todoroki had to follow on behind. Like, you know, like it put a lot of characters in peril, and they put a lot of characters to the test where they either acted irresponsibly but with a good heart, or responsibly and just whatever. But the whole thing where like his broken rib, like
at the end where he he grabs Deku and like everyone's so frightened of him when he's monologuing and stuff, and like he technically doesn't have that powerful of a quirk, but even Endeavor's shocked, and he's the number 2 hero in the world, right? And like they all take his words to heart, because like the thing is, and this will be a theme, like the reason that the League of Villains is now growing is because people agreed with Stain's ideology, which was that the heroes in our society aren't all great heroes. There is only one true hero, and the only person I will let kill me, Stain says, All Might. He doesn't do this for money, he doesn't do this for fame, he doesn't do this for anything apart from being a hero and helping people. The hero killer is a fanatic, and he's completely wrong in everything that he's saying. Like, he doesn't need to purge the world of heroes just because they don't live up to his ideology. But like, the ideology is sound, it's his actions that aren't. And that's why everyone's afraid of him, because he's a fanatic, but he's so passionate about something that he's technically right about. And yeah, it's like, and the fact that he accepts Deku as well, how like Deku runs in without a second thought, and like he says like one of the the lines that had been said a couple of times before, but it comes back up and it's an amazing moment. And Tenya Ida says, this has nothing to do with you, I'm here because like this guy paralyzed my brother, you guys need to run, it has nothing to do with you. And then Deku shouts, meddling in business that you don't need to is the essence of being a hero. And like then Stain's like, I accept this kid is a real hero like All Might.
Yeah, bro, the sauciest. And like that's like literally I said to you, like when that entire kind of, I'll say like arc, it's not an arc, an arc in My Hero is something in itself, but obviously like when that kind of the hero killer episodes happened, like by the time it was finished, like I said to you, I was like, well, that was thick and intense. Like I was lost for words.
It's genuinely one of my favorite arcs of My Hero, and there are other arcs that that are bigger and flashier and have bigger flashier fight scenes and stuff, but it shows immediate character development. It shows things that, you thought the class rep, the guy who is trying to do everything by the book, the one who is a lawmaker, a law enforcer, breaking the rules in order to get revenge, something that is a foreign concept to him because his brother's been paralyzed by a villain with an ideology that he actually agrees with, is like that instant character development. And putting Ida in this unfamiliar situation is just so good. And the fact that Deku has instant character development with the fact that he's just learned to use this new power, this way to use his quirk without hurting himself. And, he's still using his smarts. He still contacts Todoroki. He still does this stuff. But, like, these character developments, these instant character developments, Todoroki using his fire during this battle, everything you've seen in the previous arcs, including this arc, building up, and Stain just bringing out the best and the worst in all of the people that we thought we knew everything about, and it's, the Tenya Ida, his character development in this arc is just top quality, supreme character development for an anime, for a show, for a movie, for anything. That is just good writing. That is amazing writing, making the person that we think would stop people from being in danger, putting himself in danger, risking things, being completely against his normal nature because he looks up to his brother so much. Just wow, this was
It's great, bro. It really is.
Such a good, development. And, like, it's hard to sort of get that on your first go around, right? Because you're watching this and you're just like, oh, all of this is awesome. And I don't know how to describe how awesome it is. But, like, after watching it, like, a second, third time, like I have, every time I get to this point, I'm like, this is going to hit me as hard as it did the first time. And not because it's just some awesome moment, because you have a lot of awesome moments in My Hero. It's because this is where characters fundamentally change for the rest of the season. This is where we see one character be a completely different way than he was, learn from his mistakes, and influence his choices in the future. This isn't just never brought up again. There are future situations in which Tenya Ida has to make choices, and he uses, his fight with Stain as like a moral compass in order to make the right choice. It's such a great point. But I think we should move on from that arc, because otherwise I'm going to be talking about it all day. Yeah, he, Endeavor turns up, he fries people up, the Nomis are defeated, Shigaraki goes back, and then Stain basically kills himself by accident. But like, he has so much resolve, he needs to do what he needs to do, needs to say what he needs to say. And then all these villains start, they believe in Stain's vision, so they start an uprising and become more public as villains and join the League of Villains. The next arc after that is the hero final exams. So their battles against the teachers.
Yes. Oh.
Whose battle was your favourite?
Literally, right. I loved Todoroki and I forget her name, but she's
Momo Yazurozi, I think it is.
Yep. I also, even though we didn't see much of it, but just because he's the Donnie, Mineta and the other guy, but when he was like, he saved him, and he was like, oh no, he's laying on her boob. No,
yeah, Sarah. Yeah. I love
bro,
that
of course, Deku and Bakugo, just because like they've put Deku and Bakugo together for starters,
and
then
man,
had them
Bakugo
face
still
All Might.
hate that guy, right?
Bro, he does, and it's like to put them two together was one thing. To put them two together, having to face All Might was another thing. But then to have it be a case of like All Might is just not holding back, and like, well, obviously they all held back in a way. They all it was explained to them that each teacher gave them an ability to win, like, or your way to win. But like, the fact that he was just like full on maniacal, and they were like, wait, what are you doing? He's like, you can't treat this like a training simulator. You really can. And then Bakugo just starts blowing him up, and then he's just like, bro, what are you doing? Smacks him. They need to try and work together. Bakugo wants none of it, and then like by the end, Deku's just like, All Might, you best move. Boof. Straight up carries him out of the exit.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favourite fights as well. I think it's probably my favourite fight, and then coming in second for me, even though they lost, is Kaminari's fight with Principal Nezu. That's one of the more interesting fights for me, because you find out what the principal is, which is he's not a human. He's an animal with a quirk that makes him super intelligent.
Yeah, smarter than humans.
And the way he defeats them is super, like, he can see the chain reaction that's going to happen with anything. So if he knocks down a building near him, he knows what buildings are going to get knocked down near them in thing. And he leaves them one exit, and they have to use their brains in order to do it. But, like, they don't. They're just running away from all of the falling buildings, and yeah, he wins that one. So, like, I like the one where, the teacher got in it, got ahead of them in that one, Principal Nezu. But I think that was a bit unfair. I think a lot of teams would have failed against that.
I mean,
the All Might one is
probably
the best one, though. To be fair, it is just
literally the
ridiculous
fact that they obviously, again, we found out they didn't go full force, but in their eyes, these teacher heroes are going full on, not holding back, and they have to save themselves.
Yeah, definitely,
and each other.
Yeah, in their eyes, those teachers are out to make them fail this exam, and they are going full force because obviously, the harshest teacher in the world, Aizawa, makes them think that, and it's obvious that to us, the viewers, at some points that maybe they aren't going full force, but they are still capable of basically making these people fail the exams, but they're giving them extreme puzzles to work out, right? All Might being a symbol of peace and just the ultimate hero for anyone. Everyone looks to him like he's some unbeatable object, right? And his puzzle was, do we fight or do we run? And Bakugo says we fight, Deku says we run. Because Deku thinks he's this, unimaginable god figure to him, and he looks up to him, so he can't imagine that they would be able to beat him in a fight, because he thinks all the teachers are going all out. Whereas though Bakugo wants to prove that he's going to be the best hero, so he's going to fight him either way. And he's going to win that way. He won't take running away because that would hurt his pride, and he has way too much pride. So their fight being interesting, the puzzle that they're working out, how they can fight him and also run away. Defeat him in order for them to run away. Defeat him momentarily in order for them to run away is the compromise they come up with in the end. But also the puzzles of Yayorozu, Momo, she came up with the flashbang grenades and stuff during the thing with Aizawa and Todoroki. All of that stuff, and the way that they had these puzzles to get through, and some of them failed and some of them didn't, and you could see the clear way in which they would win, right? Kaminari had to use his head, and so did Red Riot plus Sato. Sato and Red Riot, the Sugar Rush guy and Hardening Quirk guy, they were against Cementos, and Cementos was just throwing up walls in front of them, and they were trying to break through them, when realistically they probably should have tried to find an additional route and run away, because he is ridiculous in a concrete jungle in which he can manipulate concrete. You're never going to be able to burst through all of those, because your hardening is going to get weaker and weaker, and your strength is going to get weaker and weaker, whereas though him creating more cement walls doesn't take any power, he's just manipulating the cement that's already there. So they had to use their heads as well, but they failed that puzzle. And I think the way they looked at it was amazing. But I love the one thing about this final exams arc is the fact that the punishment for losing was the fact that they would have to go to a training camp if they lost in order to improve in the forest. And then the twist at the end is, doesn't matter if you lost or not, you're all going to the training camp anyway. Haha, season 3. But I'm super looking forward to that.
I mean, you say that, bro. You've seen it. What do you mean you're looking forward to it?
Well, I'm looking. Well, every time. Well, when I say I'm looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to watching it again. But also, knowing your reaction based on these things, a lot of the time you hit the same beats as I do. You like the same things about the same things in the seasons that I do. So knowing that I liked a lot about season 3, I'm wondering what are going to be your best moments. So the exam arc ends, and they all have to go to that training camp in the end anyway. And all of these arcs have gone through. What is your highlight of everything? Out of all of these arcs, what was the best thing for you?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to say, it's hard to narrow it down. It's definitely the one-on-one fights that they had in the battle arena, but I'd say Deku discovering, how he can kind of link with all the past variants of All For One.
Yeah.
And Todoroki kind of overcoming the kind of pressure of using his fire side and coming to the conclusion that he's gonna use it, but in his own
right,
terms, and not for his dad. Yeah.
So that's like your favorite part of it is the character development with Todoroki, yeah?
Yeah.
I would have to say the character development with Todoroki is one of my favorite parts of this season as well. Okay, that's cool. So let's rate them. What did you give last season?
Was it a 3.5 or 4?
I think it might have been a 3.5 or a 4.
I'm not sure.
So on enjoyability scale, what are you going to give it this time?
Bro, solid 5.
Nice, fair enough.
Again,
and
I'm not going over just yet.
Or watch more ability.
5 again.
Sick.
Like, you know, I'm not gonna give it the over 5 yet.
No, that's fine. It's a warm up. So for me, rewatchability is a 6 because I'm rewatching it. And also, am I gonna watch more? Of course, I'm gonna watch more. I cannot wait for you to see season 3. On this, I'm not going to give it a 5, although I know every season of My Hero Academia, if you look at them all collectively, they are well over a 10. But like for this season, I'm just going to give it a 4.5, because I know for me, season 3 and season 4 combined is a little bit better than season 2. So yeah, for me, there are certain moments in those other seasons that really make it. But yeah, so that's cool. We watched My Hero Academia. Nathan thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I'm swaying him on anime. I think he can no longer say that he's a noob to anime, seeing as though he's watched probably the same amount of, because normally anime sort of sometimes comes out in 12 episode increments, and it might only get one season. So you've technically watched enough for 3 separate animes at this point.
Bro, I've watched...
and you watched One Punch Man.
Yeah, exactly. One Punch Man, My Hero Season 1, they were the same amount of episodes, and then it was double that. So I watched the same amount of episodes in Season 2 of My Hero than I had watched in both One Punch Man and My Hero Season 1.
Yeah, so you've either watched two mid-sized...
Two lengthy animes.
Yeah, two mid-sized anime, or 4 short-sized anime, or... As it really is, one long-sized anime. But you've definitely you tipped your toes into the water. So, you know, I think with My Hero, I think you were probably always going to like it because, of course, it's about superheroes and also the show is amazing, right? I'm not going to lie to you and say you're going to like every anime. You're definitely not. There are anime out there that I despise. And like these anime called like Vampire Night, it's about like let's not even get into it. It's awful. But the same goes with normal TV shows. Anime isn't good. It is the shows that are made under the genre of being anime that are good. You know, Food Wars is not everyone's cup of tea, but Attack on Titan might be. You know what I mean? So it's definitely dependent on the genre and dependent on whether you're going to like the show or not. It is not dependent on the fact that it is anime or it is not anime. Anime has a specific trope in which it can be more violent as a cartoon and it can have darker themes as a cartoon. But realistically, all in all, anime is just a type of media. And you can ingest it through different genres, different mediums, and realistically, My Hero Academia is a shonen anime, which gives me hope because you probably like shonen anime. So, yeah. So I'm not gonna say what type of anime I want to introduce to Nathan after My Hero because he's not through My Hero yet, and I haven't thought about it that in depth. But definitely, I think we will. We'll have to test him on some other unfamiliar waters after this.
Saucy, bro.
Okay. We are watching next week Mallrats. Is that correct?
Bro, we are watching Mallrats, bro. We are watching it.
That's great. I love Mallrats. I love Kevin Smith. All of Kevin Smith's films. We'll eventually get through basically all of them on the pod and give you our review. But yeah, we're just going to start with Mallrats. We would start with Clerks, but technically in the timeline, Mallrats is first. Even though it's the second movie, it's technically first as in timeline. So, yeah, we'll be watching Mallrats first. So next week. That's exciting. It'll be a movie as well, so it'll be less pressure.
And on that note, we cue the music.
Oh, mate, don't, because I got no music to edit in.
You're a pure wrong'un.
I am.
Even though it is kind of a Strikes Back reference.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're skipping a couple of I don't know, tens of
yeah, but it's still, but it's still raw. It's still Brody, you know.
Yeah, truth. Okay, you got anything else to say before I wrap this up?
I mean, apologies for the 30-minute rant on Power Rangers, but
I don't apologize. I think it was great. I think it spawned an idea in my head, and we're probably gonna have to make a video about it if everything is true, because I'm super excited about what it could bring for the future, and like I really like the idea of this movie. You know, having a female lead ranger, LGBTQ plus people within the thing, just being very diverse and giving us something new in the old canon.
I just don't want an LGBTQ character to be that just for the sake of them being like, see, we got one. Like, I want it to have meaning in the story.
Yeah, same.
Or like, you know,
I think
or
maybe
not even
two of the characters being in a, you know, two of the Rangers maybe being in a relationship that might be, you know, more of a homosexual relationship.
Literally, like, I'm such a wrong one because I basically do and don't want this. Like, I don't want it to be like, see, we go and that's it. But at the same time, I don't want it to be like, I want it to be like, I fight like this character. Yeah, I'm gay. Doesn't mean I don't fight any different. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right, yeah.
You know, like stuff like that. So I both want there to be a purpose to it, but also, you know, I want there to, like, you know, I don't want it to be wedged
I want it to be a
like,
seamless transition, as if it should have always been there.
Yeah, me too, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I'll completely agree with that. Okay, well, that's great. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm gonna wrap up the show now, Nathan. Hope you're okay with that.
Sure, bro.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Please leave a like, do a subscribe, do a click of the bell icon, do a little ding-a-ling-ling. You know, always see when these are up. I know sometimes they can be long. I'm thinking of maybe getting a way to clip some of them up, the more funnier bits or the more interesting pieces of news, in order to post them elsewhere. But if you have stuck along all the way through, thank you. That's amazing. Please tell a friend. You know, introduce them to the pod. If you want to get in touch with us, leave a comment down below and tell us what you thought about what we said during the podcast this week. And I hope you see you next week, and I hope you have watched more Rats, because we'll be talking about it loads. So thank you everybody, and goodbye.
Bye.